Hello, it's Maura. So what we're going to be covering in this video are the stats in your funnel, your numbers. And this is one of the most important pieces because if you don't know your numbers, how will you know if your funnel is successful or not? And also, if you're not knowing which numbers to track, how will you know if you're growing, if you're able to improve on your numbers? So that's what we're going to cover here. I'm excited to get into this with you. And first of all, let me just show you. So we've got our lead funnel here, the stats tab up at the top on the blue bar, and we're familiar with the steps here. So we're going to just go straight into the stats. And you'll see, so let me just walk you through the numbers here. So we'll start off, we've got page views, and you'll see you've got all and you've got uniques. And what this means is all page views. So when we're looking at the numbers, we will look at uniques because this is the unique number of people that have come to your funnel, the actual number of people. So if the unique number is 100, maybe all views is like 117 because some people will come back to the page. Maybe they click on it, they don't give me their email address, then they come back through my Facebook post. So some people might come back a couple of times. So that's why when we're looking at our numbers, we look at how many unique visitors we've had. Okay. The second thing is over here. So we will then see how many opt-ins, how many people gave us their email address. So we had 100 unique visitors. And then how many people? So if it's 100, maybe the average is between 20 to 25 people, okay? And then it will give us a percentage there. All right. Then, of course, from our squeeze page, so if 100 people, okay, 20 of them give us their email address. So therefore, on the thank you page, should I see 20? You'd be surprised. Some people actually click away even before they get to the thank you page. They'll put in their email address, hit submit, and then disappear. But the good thing is that we have saved their information inside ClickFunnels, so you can still follow up with them. All right, so let's take a look at this in an actual live funnel here. So I'm just going to go ahead, share my screen, and here we've got an actual live funnel. So you can see here, okay, looking at those numbers. So page views, uniques, 447 unique people. And then all is 634. So some of these people have come back more than one time. And then where we've got opt-ins, so you'll see all, so from 447, we got 347 opt-ins, which actually, remember the benchmark is 20 to 25%. Here you can see this funnel actually did really well. We got an opt-in rate of almost 78%. Okay, so here as well, so 347 people gave us their email address. And remember what I said about not all of them would actually wait. So you can see less than a third actually waited to get on the thank you page. People are in a hurry these days. So they'll put in their email address and then even whilst it's moving, they've closed down the tab and moved on. Okay, so bear that in mind as well, that if you've got your download or access to your lead magnet on your thank you page, just remember to put a link back to the thank you page in your emails because you cannot guarantee that everybody is going to see your thank you page. All right, so let me go ahead here. We're going to look at the numbers as well. Okay, so what we've got here, and I will share this with you, but you can see, so when you actually put in the number of unique visitors to your funnel, so let's say 100, and then it will tell you, okay, the minimum number of opt-ins you have is 20. If you've got 329, how many people should have given you their email address? So I've done this for you so that you can just see very quickly when you come into your funnel how it's performing. All right, so that's the stats. That's how you can track it. I would always recommend coming in here, watching your numbers. Okay, so the two key numbers that I look at are uniques. Okay, how many visitors have I had? And then my conversion rate. At what percent am I converting? If you're brand new, maybe you're going to get like 15% rather than 20 or 25. That's absolutely fine. Okay. If you just launch your funnel, maybe even get 10%. But what's important is, okay, how can I increase this number? How can I make sure that more and more people are going to be giving me their email address? So that's why knowing your numbers, knowing what you're tracking is important. Okay, so that's something there. One other thing we're going to cover is, when do you make the judgment call? Okay, at what point do you say this funnel is successful, or okay, I need to review some things here? Because when we launch a funnel, the one thing that I'm always asked is, okay, how many days, or should I give it a week and then come back, right? What's the guidance there on when to make a judgment call? And it's not actually a time. It's not a certain number of days. It's actually a number of people. Because you can imagine if somebody is posting on Facebook every day, Instagram, maybe running some paid ads, they're going to get a lot more people a lot quicker than someone who isn't even telling the world that their funnel exists. So what we do here before making a judgment call is 100 unique people, because that will give me enough data to see, right, 100 people have come to my funnel. How many people have given me their email address? Okay. Now, if you're brand new, maybe it's 10 to 15%. If you're doing average, 20 to 25%. If you're like off the charts amazing, over 75%. Okay. And what that means, because you might be thinking, well, I want to go from here to there. I want to get really high conversion rates. What's the secret? Remember, this is something we've told you right from day one. Question one is, who is your ideal customer for this funnel? Because as soon as you know what their pain points are, what they're trying to achieve, and you talk very specifically to that person, that's where you get those higher conversion rates. So that's the secret there. So another thing as well that you might want to do to make your conversions higher is split tests. Okay, because a split test, so maybe I'll give you an example of a split test. If you're not familiar with what a split test is, it's simply where we test the original page with one other thing. So, for example, it might be the color of the button. And by the way, that's probably a low priority thing to test. But if I was testing, maybe I would test a green button versus a red button. Green for go, letting people take action. Or does my audience and my ideal customer respond faster and better to a red button? So for that, I would do a split test. Another example would be the headline. Now, this would be one of the very first things I would test in my funnel. Okay, if I'm not getting those high conversion rates, or I want to increase the conversion rate, I would be split testing. And the very first thing I would split test, a different headline. And an example would be, you can have, we spoke about these in the sessions if you want to watch the replay, but remember, we can have pleasure headlines. So how to get this result. Okay, that's a pleasure headline. And we can also have a pain headline, how to avoid XYZ, whatever your ideal customer is struggling with. So let's just go ahead. I'm just going to put in here. Okay, so I'm just going to put pain headline. Let's go ahead and make it uppercase as well. Okay, save. One thing on this, when you're split testing, make sure you've finished your page, because if you create a duplicate and your page isn't complete yet, you've now doubled your workload, because anything you change in this one, you need to also create in the new one. So split testing is once we're done with the page. Then what I do, okay, so now I'm just going to create variation. Okay, we want it to be a duplicate page because the only one thing I'm changing is the headline. So duplicate page. And you'll see we've now got two identical copies of the page. We'll just give it a second to load. Okay, and I'm going to come in. So we've got Control and variation. I'm going to come into the variation, edit page. Okay, and this one would just be the pleasure headline, just one thing at a time. Okay, and then to make this active, the only thing I need to do now, start split test, apply changes, and now 50% of the people I send to my funnel will see the pleasure headline, 50% will see the pain headline. So random split up. So you do not need to do anything specific. You don't need to get any special links in your Facebook post or your Facebook ads or wherever you're sharing the link. You can just share the link to this page directly, or click the question mark and get the link to the funnel. And ClickFunnels, the internet, will randomly separate people out so that they see one version or another. One thing on this as well is that once somebody, because when you're testing, you might like, okay, I saw the pain headline, and then you test the link again, you see the pain headline. So you'll try it a third time, you'll see the pain headline. And at that point, you're probably going to open up a support ticket like, hey, my split test isn't working. So just to be very clear, when you're doing split testing, if somebody sees a version of the page once, that's the version they'll keep seeing. Because could you imagine how confusing it would be if somebody sees a pain headline, then a pleasure headline, then a pain, and then pleasure. And that's just one example of a test. Like you can imagine sometimes we split test a male voice in your video versus a female voice. And again, your funnel could go viral for all the wrong reasons. So if somebody sees one particular version, that's the one they'll keep seeing. So you might be thinking, well, how can I make sure that it is actually working? The way to do that is by using an incognito window each time. Each time you visit the link, do it in an incognito window because that's like a brand new visitor. Okay, so in Chrome, you can see here just up at the top right, and then new incognito window. You can get there as well just by doing File, new incognito window. If you're using Safari or Firefox, I think it's called private window, but that's the important thing is rather than just new window, it has to be that incognito. All right, then once your split test is running, you'll see, okay, at the moment, confidence score 50-50. But as more people come to this page and like give me their email address on one or the other, the confidence score will rise or drop. And again, if you're wondering, when do I make that judgment call? Head to your stats tab. And then I always wait. So I make a note, like if I'm running a split test today and I've had 500 people come to my funnel, I start my split test and then I wait until that is now 600 people. Okay. And you'll see now beside squeeze page, there's actually the arrow. I can click that and now I can see very specifically, okay, of those new 100 people, how many saw the control with the pain headline and how many saw pleasure, and then here what's the opt-in rate. So split tests are hugely important, but also important, only ever test one thing. Because if I tested, let's say I decided, well, I want to test the headline, I want to test the button color, I want to test the voiceover, and I did all three of them, I will never know which one of those things actually moved the needle. So this is why we test one thing. And let's just say the pleasure headline got most people to opt in, declare as winner. It's going to end my split test. Okay, and then that version, the page with the pain headline goes down here. Then what I would do is I would now go ahead and create my next split test because I know that the audience, okay, reacts more. I get more email addresses with the pleasure headline. So then what I'll do, create variation, maybe test the button color. So now I've got two pages with the pleasure headline, but now they've got a different button color in each. And then once I see the results there, I would declare a winner. Okay, and then test the next thing. And you should, in my funnels, I'm always running split tests on that first page in the funnel. And that's how you increase the conversions over time because your funnel is getting better and better and better. And if you want to dig deeper into this, head over to, and I'll put the link somewhere around the video, but go to 108splittest.com. Now it's free. Go ahead, put in your email, and you may even recognize this design. We gave it to you in your first funnel. This is one that we're using. It's a live funnel, and you can go ahead, download 108 different things you can split test in your funnels. Okay, so definitely get a copy of that. Okay, you'll see it's going to land in your inbox in the next few minutes. You can register for the web class, but now it's on its way to you. So 108 split tests. Have fun with your split testing. It will give you the data that you need for your funnel to just get better and better. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any questions, you can find me in the ClickFunnels group. But here's to your success with your lead magnets and building all those different lead magnets for your business as well. So I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.